Well, hello, everyone. I'm Thera Martin Milling, and we are so glad to be with you in your home, at your place of business, wherever it is right now that you are watching news you can use. I'm the host of this show, and we are glad to be back for another semester at LaSalle TV. On our program today, in the first segment, we're going to talk with a wonderful lady. She happens to be a business owner. She is a licensed cosmetologist, and we're going to have a little conversation about hair today on our show. In fact, she did my hair, and so we'll talk about hair and the importance of having that beauty license, that cosmetology license, as opposed to just going to somebody who's doing hair in their basement, never went to school, they don't know what they're doing, and so when they get finished putting a perm and dye on your hair and you get up and your hair falls out, you'll know why. You want a licensed cosmetologist. As we turn the page a little bit later on, we're going to talk with Wayne Jacobs. He is the co-founder of XOffenders for Community Empowerment. Stay along with us for the ride. Got a great show ahead. Well, here we go with our program for today, and we are so glad that you're joining us, our viewing audience, that is. This is News You Can Use here at LaSalle TV, and I'm the host, Thera Martin Milling. Joining me right now is my new friend, and I'm so glad that this young lady is in my life. I'm talking about Sophia Brewer. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And she is a very talented cosmetologist, licensed cosmetologist, as well as the owner of her own salon. And I have to give credit to Mr. Ray Murphy of North Philadelphia. For over 40 years, he owned Tommy's Men's Store on North 22nd Street. And he is the one who first told me about you. He said, she's moving in on North 22nd Street. You've got to go meet this sister. She's dynamite. She's an excellent cosmetologist. You two got to get together. And that's when I came into your salon. But I'm very impressed with your salon. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's clean. It's bright. And now I see why some of that brightness is happening, because you pay somebody to come do your windows regularly.
Yes, I do.
Everybody doesn't do that.
It's very important.
So let's talk about this whole cosmetology thing for a minute and why it's important to, whenever you can, ladies and gentlemen, to go to licensed barbers, licensed cosmetologists. Why?
Well, if you were blessed, I say it's a blessing to have a God-given talent as a stylist, cosmetologist, you owe it to yourself as well as to your clients to give them that professional experience. These stylists need to get into a school, a professional salon, where they can learn the studies of hair. You know, you don't want to be going to no one's kitchen, sorry to say, but you don't want to be a kitchen stylist. You need to come out and get into a professional salon like my own.
Now, were you one of those little girls who every time you got a new doll baby, you first thing hair? You're doing the hair and you're fixing the hair.
I love to do hair. My mother knew I was going to be a cosmetologist before I did. She always told me, you love messing with hair. No, she wasn't, but she knew I always was playing with the dolls and always wanted to mess with everybody's hair. And she said, you're going to be a cosmetologist.
So when did you finally say, okay, it's time to really go to school?
Well, actually, I did attend Dobbins, but I didn't take up cosmetology. I took up welding, of all things, knowing that I loved hair. Right after high school, I said, you know, stop playing with yourself. You know exactly what you want to do. You want to be a cosmetologist. And that's when, right after high school, I went into the cosmetology, went to school, got my license.
Generally, and I know everybody is different. I know that some people are on a slower track because they may be working full-time during the day somewhere, and then they're going to cosmetology school at night. Other people just go on and jump in full-fledged and do the cosmetology school full-time during the day, Mondays through Fridays. How did you do it, and about how long generally does it take?
Well, I did it full-time. It took me exactly 9 months. I didn't miss a day. I was diligent. I wanted to get in. I wanted to get my license. My thing is I have to get my license, and I don't want to take 2 years to do it. Because, I mean, some people take 2 years, but it can be done in 9 months.
Now, some of these young ladies out here, and I don't want to discourage any of them, I always feel kind of good, actually, when I see young girls who have the mannequin head, and they're coming from Dobbins High School usually, or sometimes from some other schools, and you know right away, there's a cosmetologist wannabe, or there's a student of cosmetology. And I always, just want to cheer them on a little bit. But for people who really are clueless and don't understand that if you don't have the training, you could burn somebody's scalp. If someone has some kind of a skin disease, you may be putting the wrong chemicals on their hair or that will touch their skin or scalp. So talk more a little bit about why they need to really do the training. Because I've seen some of the books and I said, oh my God, is this medical school or what?
Yes, it's like you're a doctor of the hair. You're a doctor of the hair.
Yes.
And you have to know the disorders of the hair and scalp, because someone might have something that is infectious and you might go and put a chemical on it and you're not supposed to. So if you don't go to school, you don't know the foundation of hair. You just do hair.
Right.
But as a cosmetologist, you study hair and you need to know what you're doing, because
Right.
you could really do damage to someone.
That's scary.
Yes.
That's scary. I always think about the Malcolm X movie where Malcolm in the movie was getting perm in his hair and it was burning and he went running and screaming to go, and I think he ended up putting his head in the toilet.
Never want to do that.
Those chemicals are no joke.
They're no joke. They're chemicals. You have to know what to do. You need to know the procedures of what to do, how to do it, and why it needs to be done a certain way. You can't cut corners. That's why you need to go to a professional salon, a professional licensed cosmetologist to get chemical service, to get any service. And as women, we deserve to go to a professional place and sit down and be pampered.
Absolutely, and that's how I felt when I came into your shop last Friday. I'd never been to Jazzy Shears, that's the name of her salon, on North 22nd Street before as a customer. I've been in there a bunch of times, handing out flyers, giving you the newspapers, just talking with you and your wonderful husband, talking to your other ladies who work there, because they're all so nice and they're all so beautiful. Every time I come in there, I feel like plain Jane. They're made up, they got the hair going, they just, all of you look so gorgeous.
Thank
I'm like,
you.
I'm in my jeans and my sneakers and I look like a bum.
You always look beautiful.
But it was fun being treated for a change, because as I've told you, I get my hair done at home. My daughter finally went to school and got her license for cosmetology, but to be honest, no, I don't like standing over the sink with my head down and all that. I'm getting older, my shoulders start aching and all that. I want to come to a salon and be treated like I was treated with you and your other wonderful staff the other day. So the value of that in and of itself is so special. But talk a minute about other opportunities for doing hair. Okay, you could do hair in a salon.
Yes.
I know people who do hair at Channel 6 and 3 and 10. They do the makeup and the hair for talent.
Talent and TV, funeral homes, hair, you can do hair anywhere.
Funeral homes.
Yes.
I forgot about that one.
Yes, you can go to funeral homes, nursing homes. Everybody wants to look good.
Sure,
Sure. When you're live and when you're not, you always want to look good. So you don't have to stand behind the chair. You can sell products, professional products. There's a lot of...
Well, Sophia, how does one cosmetologist break into the Hollywood business scene, let's say, or the New York business scene, doing models' hair, or out in Hollywood, preparing actresses and actors to go on set to do a show, a sitcom, or what have you?
A lot of times it's who you know,
Who you know.
Yeah, and who you
It's
know.
not necessarily what you know, who you know.
And you definitely have to be licensed, because if you don't have a license, they're not
Sit
going to
down.
take you
Sit
serious.
down.
You might as well
Yes.
just go sit down, because they're not even going to take you serious.
And do they also, when we're talking about Hollywood and New York and models and fashion shows, do they want to know that you've been at this thing with a license
Yes.
for at least 5 years, 6 years, 10
Maybe
years?
even more. They want to know. They want to know. They don't want to say, oh, I know how to do hair. I've been doing hair at my kitchen. They're not going to take that serious. You can't put that on your resume.
Okay, so that's another thing these young ladies and the young
And
men
men
who want to be in cosmetology have to understand, because they will say, as quick as we can bat our eyes, I've been doing hair for...
15 years, 20 years.
But were you ever trained?
No.
Did you ever read a book?
Have you ever been in the salon? They wanted their salon experience. Doing it at home doesn't count.
Yes. So at your salon, Jazzy Shears, you're open to doing some level of mentoring with individuals that would like to be in the business?
Yes, if you're interested, you're serious, and you want to learn, give me a call. I would love to sit down with you, take you under my wing, and help you as much as I can.
Wow, that's a blessing. And we got to get you back over at Dobbins High School and let those young folks over there, let
Yes,
Dr.
I would
Tony
love.
Damon know that this fabulous graduate alumni of Dobbins
Yes.
is willing to reach back out and say, look, some of you cosmetology people who are serious.
Who
And you
serious?
ones that want to play, stay over there.
If you're going to
You wanna
play, stay
learn?
home. But if you really want to learn and you're serious about your craft, Definitely. I
a
will
good
do
thing.
anything I can to help you because someone had to take me under their wing.
Now, originally, when you first, after you got your license and all that, you went straight downtown to Center
Straight
City.
to Center City.
Check you
I
out.
went to Center City, did hair at
You had your own salon.
I did have a hair salon for about 5 years in Center
in
City.
Center City. That's
Yes.
expensive.
It was expensive, very expensive.
But that's what you wanted to do.
I wanted to do that. That's where I wanted to be. I did hair. I was an owner there, and then I got a phone call and said, it's a space at 22nd in Indiana. Won't you come and manage it? Because at first they asked me to be the manager,
Yes.
and now I'm the owner. And I was a little hesitant because I was so comfortable being into
Yes.
it. It was a
Center
pleasant,
City, wow.
yes, but coming to 22nd Street was truly a blessing.
Yeah. Well, for me, 22nd Street really works. I just don't want to be downtown to get my hair done. I don't even really like to shop downtown, to tell you the truth.
But you know what I really like about being on 22nd Street, besides it's a wonderful location and the people, your clients don't have to have that additional cost of paying for parking.
Right.
You can come,
All
you can
of
jump
that,
with a
all of
33
that,
bus,
all
you
of
can
that.
park your car on the
Yes,
street.
yes.
Why have that additional
I take
cost?
all of that into consideration, and so I love where you are. Not to knock where you were before
Right.
in Center City. That was a good thing too, I'm
Yes,
sure.
it
but,
was.
You're making all the right moves and strides. Oh, the other thing, before we go run out of time, what is unique about your salon to me, now you are married to a famous gentleman.
Yes. Mr. Charles Brewer, former IBF champion of the world.
Right. Woo! and so you've sort of themed your salon after boxing.
Yes, after my husband. That part is his. We have a wall of fame of all the champions that we have met throughout his career.
Yes.
And as a stylist, I'm fighting every day. I'm fighting to keep the hair healthy,
Yes.
fighting hair loss. So the thing
And so
works.
there's like a boxing ring. It's like designed like a boxing ring.
Yeah, it's a boxing ring. That's what we do our hair in the ring.
I love it. I love it. It's so awesome. I thank God for putting you in my life. I appreciate you and your husband. And I want to say congratulations to your husband, too, because he won an award on January the 12th of 2015, the Joe Frazier Award from the Honorable Judge Jacqueline Frazier
yes.
Lyde and her husband Pete Lyde when they do their annual remembrance birthday celebration for our boxing champion Joe Frazier. I love the way that they embrace others from the boxing community and celebrate a lot of good people while they continue to
Yes.
celebrate the memory of Joe Frazier.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for
And thank
having
you
me.
for hooking me up. And just viewing audience, I want you to know it rained cats and dogs today in Philadelphia. So it's amazing that either of us are
Yes.
able to maintain anything at this point. But I was really looking gorgeous last Friday. But I thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to keep things moving as we go forward with this edition of News You Can Use. When we come back, we're going to talk with Mr. Wayne Jacobs. He's the co-founder of XOffenders for Community Empowerment. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Thera Martin Milling, host of News You Can Use.
Hello, I'm Fire Commissioner Derek Sawyer. I'm your host of Freedom from Fire.
Hi, I'm your host, Todd Johnson, of a program called Bridging the Gap.
Join our hosts and their amazing guests only on LaSalle TV. Tune in to Comcast Channel 56 and Verizon Fios Channel 36 to check out LaSalle TV. You can get more LaSalle TV on social media, like LaSalle TV on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at LaSalle TV Philly.
Check us out.
Bye for now.
Cyberbullying comes in many forms and can happen 24/7. If you or someone you know is a victim of cyberbullying, take preventative and assertive action. Keep evidence and document all instances. Remember to record dates, times, descriptions, and also save and print screenshots. Block your cyberbully and present your evidence to school officials or law enforcement. No one deserves to be a victim of cyberbullying, and together we can end it. For more information, visit stopbullying.com.
Hello, everybody. We continue now with this edition of News You Can Use. I'm Thera Martin Milling. So glad to be back for another semester here at LaSalle TV, Channel 56. We're also seen on Verizon Fios Channel 36. So we welcome you, everybody who's watching. And we welcome you, Mr. Wayne Jacobs. You are my brother.
Thank
and
you.
it's good to see you. Yes,
Same
sir.
here, same
now,
here.
you co-founded XOffenders for Community Empowerment. How old is that group?
15 years.
15 years old.
Yes.
Okay. And the other founder is Steve Blackburn?
Yes. He's a commuted lifer who was commuted by the late Governor Casey. That was back in the 90s.
And for those who don't know what commuted means, he was in prison for life.
Right.
Even though he didn't kill somebody, he was with a group of
Right.
young people, like
Right.
18, 19
Yeah.
year olds, and something went wrong, and he ended up being in trouble along with the other young
Right.
people. They all ended up going to jail, but he got life, and he didn't even kill anybody.
Right.
Life.
Right. Well, the
Life.
crazy thing about that was the trigger man, the person that actually did the killing, he got out in about 10 years.
I don't get it.
And
That's another
that's
subject
the
for
law.
another
That's another-
day.
that's
I don't
another
get it. I
subject.
do not understand
Yes.
the legal system at all.
Right.
But the point is, Steve Blackburn had life in prison, supposed to never see the light of day.
Right.
And thank goodness to Bob Casey for believing in second chances,
Right.
if you will.
Right.
He signed the legislation to
Right,
get
right,
him freed.
Right, and to show that, you know, most times when people who receive a commutation from the governor who have been sentenced to a life sentence, their recidivism rate is like 1%.
Sure, sure.
I mean, they have the lowest recidivism rate of all formerly incarcerated and convicted people.
And usually these are folks who've been in for a long time,
Right,
too. So, of course,
right.
they don't want to come back.
Right,
They
right.
don't
But not
wanna
only
come
that,
back.
they had a chance to sit down and reinvent themselves while they are incarcerated. Like you have people like Tyrone Works.
Is he okay? Is he out of the hospital now?
Yes, he's out. He's a prime example. Then you have brothers like Farouk, Eddie Ryder, who was commuted for a crime that he never even committed. But he had to take responsibility, and he have not been back. So, you know, there's a lot of examples where folks who have received a commutation
And you
come
haven't
home.
been back.
Right. I have never been received a commutation.
Right,
yet,
right, because you
but-
didn't need one.
Yeah, I don't need none.
Right.
You know, because I think my arrest record is my credibility for what the work that I do. You know.
Absolutely. And you are an example, like Steve Blackburn is an example, like Tyrone Wirtz is an example, and some other names that I won't call right
Yeah.
now, of someone who circumstances, whatever happened, did the crime or not, but was there or got pulled in and had to go through a nightmare of incarceration. And you made your mind up after going through this a few times. You said, you know
Yeah.
what, okay, this is enough already.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And now you're walking with the mayor. I see you walking with the governor. I see you walking with state senators, United States senators, Pennsylvania state senators, state representatives, city council people, all kinds of lawmakers and leaders of this community, because they want to get from you the knowledge you have about this whole incarceration thing, and they invite you to speak everywhere.
Right. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And well, you know, for one, I've been doing this work for many, many years, and a lot of the folks that's now in those leadership positions remember me from when they started out, and me being committed to this type of issue, where I used to get up in the rooms back in the 80s. I was the only person that would tell people, hey, you don't want to get tough on crime, because getting tough on crime means getting tough on us, and we don't we don't want to go down that slippery road. But folks went, and this is what we have now. We have a industry, you know, where every day people are being placed in what I call slave type conditions, because once you are convicted, you are no longer guarantee the full protection of the Constitution. You don't have the full rights. You know, and what I mean by full rights, once you get convicted, you don't have the right to sit on the jury. You know, once convicted, you don't have the right to be able to care for your deceased kids. You wouldn't be able to adopt your nieces and nephews if a family member dies. You don't have the right to adopt. So how can you really call yourself a citizen?
And then some of this public housing that's available,
Yeah.
once you're convicted, they don't want you.
Man,
You can't live here, you can't live there.
I mean, now let's just say you caring for your elderly mother, right? And you're making the sacrifice, right? You may have to quit a job. You work one job, but you quit another job to be able to take care of your mother. And now you find out that mom can qualify for home health care. Shouldn't you be the one to get that money? You wouldn't be able to get it if you was being convicted. Even if you are caring for your mom, even if your mom
You done
select
paid
you.
your time?
Yeah.
After you done paid your time?
These are 10, 15-year-old crimes I'm talking about. People, you know,
I
like the
get it.
population I work with is the population that's no longer on probation and parole, who've been home for 5, 10, 15, 25, 30 years, who have reinvented themselves, who went back and reestablished their credibility with their family, with the community, you know, even went back and went to school. And now they are still faced with the same collateral consequences. It doesn't make a difference. And at some point in time, you know, that has to change in terms of people forever being committed to have to live in poverty. Because when you put a person in poverty, you're not just putting that person in poverty, you're putting the whole family in poverty.
Exactly.
You know, and convictions plays a large part to that.
Okay, I know we don't have a whole lot of time, and I'm trying to talk about as many things as we can that are important. Expungement. Now, expungement means getting your record wiped clean?
Yes, expungement is for people who have never been arrested, I mean, who have never been convicted, and just been arrested, in that case, been discharged. You see, that's for those folks. Folks who've been convicted has to come to my program.
Wait a minute. So, if you've committed a crime but you weren't convicted, like as in you were innocent?
Yeah.
And you still got to fight to get that record clean?
Yeah.
Like, it would seem to me that if you've been accused of a crime and you go to court and the judge finds you are innocent, not guilty, that the powers that be would wipe that slate clean for you.
No.
You mean to tell me?
You have to pay.
Okay, I need to go to law school because I don't understand this stuff.
But then on top of that, after the case is discharged or for whatever reasons, you have to pay to have your record expunged. You know, so, I mean, this whole thing about looking at arresting and convicting people is a very big business.
Sure.
To those particular folks that's in that level of business, but then you look at the other end. What is it doing for our community? And it's not doing nothing for the community, because what it's actually doing is keeping the community in a depressed, poverty state. You know, so convictions plays a large role in a lot of folks' lives, you know, and people need to revisit that whole issue.
Ever so often, you are involved with sponsoring expungement clinics and other kinds of workshops, clinics, seminars, conferences about formerly incarcerated people.
Right.
Or
FICP.
returning citizens.
No, not returning citizens. See, we're not citizens. Because if we were citizens, we wouldn't even be having this conversation about us being discriminated towards work, being able to care for our family, because all citizens have that right. We don't have that right. So we are not citizens. We are formerly incarcerated and convicted people. Because once you get convicted, you are now placed in a special class.
Yeah. But it is so important, I think, when you're having these various workshops and seminars to help people who are coming out of incarceration and or to help families of people who are yet still incarcerated, to help them get through the maze of you know, red tape that you sometimes have to experience when you have a loved one who's incarcerated. So again, Ex-Offenders for Community Empowerment, you all come out, you host these kinds of events to help educate.
Right. We do an awful lot of education about the issue. You know, like I said earlier, we are the only organization in the state of Pennsylvania outside of the legal community that assists people with pardons. Just 2 months ago, we got 2 people pardoned. Okay, it's a long, drawn-out process, but this is the only outcome that people can go for. All right, those that have been convicted is no longer on probation or parole. This is the only way that they can get their second chance. And so, you know, that's one of the things that we do. We focus on that. Matter of fact, we was the first group in the city to even start talking about expungements and pardons.
Yep. And then, oh gosh, you have so many good things going on. Try and remember it all. You work with ex-offenders and their families in so many different ways. I know there's the expungement piece. There was something else I wanted you to jump on real quick.
Ban the box.
Ban the box.
Ban the
That's
box.
what
Now,
it was.
you know, there's a lot of complaints
got
about
a
ban
minute
the
and a
box.
half.
Okay, so there's a lot of complaints about ban the box, and I like to say it like this: ban the box was the first bite at the apple for us.
Okay. And ban the
Now,
box basically is about job applications.
Right. It's about the job application, taking that question off of have you ever been convicted. Now, we're going back to City Council this year to add more teeth to fair employment screening. That is the correct name for it.
Fair employment screening. I like the sound of that. You're going to have to tell us more about it next
Yes, I
time.
will.
I'm also going to be writing about it in the Scoop USA community newspaper, and we look forward to helping to get the word out about what you do, because the reality is, we can like it or not, there's a lot of people who are coming home from being incarcerated, and I'd rather them have the right information and good information to lift them up and help them than to just throw them out here on the streets and they have no help, no nothing, because they're going to go right back to a life of crime. So phone number real quick, and we'll let you go.
My phone number is 215-668-8477. My Facebook page is the letter XCE, Philly, Philly. My email address is jacobs19132@yahoo.com.
All right. I thank you so much. I appreciate you. You are my brother, and keep doing the good work you're doing. All right.
And thank you, Thea,
That's
for
a bet.
having
That's
me.
a bet. All righty. That wraps it up for this edition of News You Can Use. That wraps it up for us, and we thank you for joining us on this edition. We'll be back next time. Have a good day, everyone.